In this video, I'd like to share with you all my current 5 favorite wireless gaming headsets. Now, with this being a roundup video, I'm going to briefly go over the topics, let you know why these are my favorite headsets. But if you want a detailed deep dive on any headset we're talking about here, luckily I did standalone videos on them all, and I will have a pinned comment right down below in the comment section with the link to each of those videos per gaming headset, so you can get a deep dive into whichever one you're looking at. And again, this is my current 5 favorite wireless gaming headsets, and there are tons of amazing wireless gaming headsets out there that might not be on this list, but still are amazing. And I want to hear from you all down in the comments. What is your favorite wireless gaming headset currently? And by the way, as far as the microphone test, I'll have them all at the end of the video just so you can compare one to the other in a seamless transition. And of course, I'll have the timestamps down below so you can jump around as you please. But before we take a look at any of these amazing gaming headsets, let me give a quick shout out to our sponsor of this video, being Corsair and their new K70 Pro TKL. The Corsair K70 Pro TKL is seriously packing some features and functions within it. Number one being pre-lubed Corsair MGX switches, which are magnetic, so you can adjust your actuation from 0.4 to 3.6, great for gaming or typing. You also have rapid trigger and snappy tappy on this, so you can be the fastest on that battlefield. You also have 8,000 polling rate, and on top of it all, or inside it all, you have multiple layers of dampening foam to really help out with that sound and feel of this keyboard. The Corsair K70 Pro TKL truly does everything you need. And to find out more information about it, take a look at the links right down in the description. Now let's go and dive into these gaming headsets. And then I'm going to start it off with my absolute favorite, which I guess you're supposed to save the best for last. But I gotta start with what I have been maining for quite a while, being the Astro A50 Gen 5s. And number one, most importantly, is the comfort. This headset right out of the box is stinking cozy. These ear pads are just plush, pillow top, that cloth right there. They do let the sound bleed out, but again, they are so stinking comfortable. Your ears don't sweat in them. Now, if you want to lock in a little bit more sound and not use that cloth, you can get wicked cushions for it. So you can just bam, slap on, magnetize on there, and they will hold that sound in a lot more, make it a little bit more thumpy for you, maybe for a story game. We'll talk more about that in the sound. But right out of the gate, from the adjustability to the ear pads to the headband, this headset is hands down stinking cozy. And going right along with that, the build of this headset is solid. Me personally, I think Astros have always been super solid. I've never had any break on me, and I've been using them for years. They just feel premium, look premium, and again, I don't get worried about these. But one of my favorite things about the A50 Gen 5s is the features and functions it's packing. That's if you're going with the X version or just the regular A50s. One of them having a high-speed USB pass-through in the X, and then the A50 regulars being USB, but you can still use them across every single platform. But even other than the dock itself being a charging dock, which is another bonus there, but on the headset, it has everything you need, from voice to game chat mix right there. You got simultaneous Bluetooth, nice volume rocker, again, the switch from each console, and then that flip up to down microphone. I mean, this headset truly does features and functions right. The only thing I think would make it maybe a little bit better is if it had a swappable battery. I don't know, that's just me nitpicking, because again, you can just slap it on a dock, charge it when you go get a drink or snack, and you're good to go. And talking about being good to go, you can customize this headset on your phone or on a PC app. And I absolutely love gaming headsets with a phone app. It just makes it that much easier. Again, if you're going over to console, you can still tweak your stuff. You don't have to be over on PC. And yes, you can tweak it while you're using it. It's just perfect for features and functions. But of course, everything we just talked about doesn't matter if they don't sound good. So let's talk about the sound on the new Astro A50 Gen 5s. This goes for the A50X or the regular ones. They're both using 40mm graphene drivers, and I absolutely love graphene drivers. A lot of headsets use them now, the new Corsairs, the previous Logitechs, these. Just graphene drivers are really becoming popular, which is a good thing because you get a really sharp, crisp sound out of it. Don't let me say sharp like ear piercing, but you get that detail that you want, right? With a regular driver, being paper or whatever it's made out of, it's just kind of rumbly, can get a little soft, maybe a little muddy depending on how it's separated there. But these, the graphene drivers, every little detail hits, whether it's bass, bam, you're gonna get it and it's gone and it's out of there. The detail of the environment, you're getting what you want. Like that wind isn't gonna bleed into the bass and be this muffled out sound. It's just a very nice, detailed, crisp sound that works across any game, whether it be an FPS or a story game. I really love the sound of the A50s. Now the A50s are gonna come in at 300 bucks. If you go with the A50X, they're gonna be just about $80 more at 380 bucks. And again, the only way I would recommend you go with the X version is if you're like me and you bought the big box retail TV and they chinched out on those HDMIs, then that pass-through will be beneficial. But if you don't need that pass-through, just get the base ones and save yourself 80 bucks. The sound, you're not gonna notice any difference going from USB to HDMI. Again, if you need that high-speed pass-through, that's where it's gonna be beneficial. But if your TV has plenty of connections, you're good to go. You do not need that. Save yourself 80 bucks. Now the next headset on the list is a fan favorite and one of my favorites. As you all know, people call me the SteelSeries fanboy. That is being the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro Wireless. This headset truly does it all. And starting off with comfort, we all know SteelSeries gaming headsets are stinking cozy. You got that floating headband design. Now, as far as the ear pads, unfortunately on the Nova Pro Wireless, they are fully pleather. I do not like them as my ears get very spicy. That does play around with the sound. And again, the ANC that this headset's featuring, but I just can't stand those ear pads. So I do use my Wicked Cushions Freeze here, which definitely help out a whole lot. We'll talk more about these in the sound, but the comfort of these with the adjustability, I think they're gonna fit any head shape, and they are very comfortable for glasses wear as well. Very medium to light clamping force. But going right in line with that, the downfall of this headset is the build potentially, as they've never broken on me, but you can see you have some weak points right down here in the arms. You're going plastic, plastic to plastic in our main points right there. So that can be a little bit worrisome. You got that metal reinforced headband, but whatever, we really want these parts down here to be reinforced a little bit more. Now I've used the previous Arctis Nova Pro wireless headset for years, and they did get significantly loose. But talking about these, again, being fairly new, you can still see them are a little bit loose right now, and over time they'll get looser. So just be careful with them and you'll be perfectly fine. But I can't sit here and lie to you. That makes me nervous. Now, as far as features and functions on the Arctis Nova Pro Wireless, they have everything we really need. You got a retractable microphone with a mute light on the front. You got simultaneous Bluetooth. You have active noise cancellation. And luckily on the newer versions here, they reduced that nub. When they first came out, they had a big active noise cancellation nub in there that just got absolutely annoying and would touch the cartilage of my ear, but they've reduced that and we are good to go right now. You have the swappable batteries in these. Like I stated, I wish the Astros had. You have that in here. You have 22 hours per battery, so battery issue is never a concern. But best of all is a station where you can adjust everything on a headset, from your active noise cancellation to EQs and your sound, all sorts of stuff you can adjust right on that little box, which makes it so simple and convenient to use. I mean, seriously, the Arctis Nova Pro Wireless truly does everything you need as far as features and functions. I guess the only thing I would like is, again, a phone app. That would be a cool little touch, but you really don't need it because you got this right at your fingertips. I'm just nitpicking here, talking about what I would like to see. But now let's talk about the sound of this headset, featuring 40mm drivers, but now with a frequency range of 10 to 22,000. And talking about it being a little bit lower right there, you do notice the bass in these, especially if you're using the previous line of SteelSeries Arctis gaming headsets, which I, again, used for years. And I use those a lot because I used to play a whole lot of FPS games. Now I dabble with FPS and play a lot of stories, so I do like the extra immersion and bass and body packed into this. Now don't get me wrong here, they're not muddy, rumbly, or anything like that, but you do have a little bit of punch. And when it hits, you truly feel that hit and then it's kind of gone right there, you know? But again, you are gonna get more bass and more body out of these, even though you still get really nice details, but they're not screechy, piercing details like the previous line of Arctis out there, okay? Now the Arctis Nova Pro Wireless are gonna come in at $350 MSRP, but luckily this headset's been out for a little while and you can usually find them for significantly cheaper than that. All day long around 300 bucks, if not a little bit less, depending if you're getting the white version or the black version. And when you're talking under $300 for this headset, it's a no-brainer. This is an awesome buy, a headset that's going to do everything that you want, one that I highly, highly recommend. The next gaming headset I'm going to share with you was a true shocker this year. This being the Asus Rog Delta 2 wireless gaming headset. Number one, it's lightweight. Going right to these pads. They're soft. They are plush. They are breathable. You got that sports material around them. They are so stinking cozy. The headband looks a little dinky. It is a little chintzy, but it gets the job done. As far as adjustability, you have everything on these. The swivel, the adjustment. It's going to fit any head shape. This headset is so phenomenally stinking cozy. Now, taking a closer look at this headset, as far as the build, with it looking very similar to the SteelSeries headset we just looked at, this headset does it right. That hook is metal, going up into the adjustable arm is metal, so our key point right there, again, you got that metal connection. Now, unfortunately, with that hook going into the ear cup, it is going metal to plastic, and you do still have a little bit of give. I'm not too sure what it's connected to in there, but again, as far as those key points, it is metal, and the clamping force is that medium to light. You just don't get worried about this. It feels premium, it looks premium. I don't get worried about it one bit. I guess the only issue would be that metal going into that plastic right there, but still, they did the build of this headset right. Now, as far as features and functions on this headset, they did a lot right on it as well. But the one finicky thing is the volume wheel. It's tactile steps right there, up and down, but that's also your mic mute button. When you press it down, you might get an accidental slip up or down and adjust your volume. Little finicky right there. I don't know. I kind of wish they had just a regular switch for it, but you also got that mute light button on it. USB, as far as your charging, would you get up to 110 hours on this headset with RGB off, or 24 hours with the RGB on. Now, on the flip side, you have your Bluetooth button, which again, you can answer, pick up calls, skip tracks, so on and so forth, sync it up via Bluetooth, but you also have your dedicated Bluetooth volume, which I absolutely love. I wish every headset that had Bluetooth had its dedicated Bluetooth controls. Love that there. They really nailed features and functions on this headset, and it just baffles me how the build is so good. The features and functions packed in this, and it's still incredibly lightweight. And it went even further, like with the dongle, as it's a USB-C dongle. So if you're putting it in your console, bam, it just goes in. It doesn't block any other ports. They give you a little adapter as well. They just did everything right as far as usability and features and functions on this headset. Now, as far as sound of the Asus Rog Delta 2, they're using 50mm drivers with a frequency range of 20 to 20,000. And as you saw before in the comfort, these incredibly plush cloth ear pads, yes, just like on a SteelSeries, they are going to let that sound bleed out a little bit more, but they do come with a fully pleather set as well. If you want to lock in that sound, maybe you got a loud environment, or you need to be a little bit quieter at night, you don't want that sound bleeding out, but that also plays into your game. And again, if you want more body, fully pleather, of course. If you want a little more FPS and you want that bass to breathe out, you're going to go with those cloths, as I mentioned previously. But the cool thing about this headset, as I always use it with the cloth ear pads because they're so stinking cozy, but this headset really works across any game. And I can pretty much set one EQ and be good across all of them. So if I'm playing a story game, I'm perfectly fine. I'm getting that immersion, I'm getting that bass, I'm getting that body, I'm getting the environment sound where that wind isn't becoming too full and bass heavy, you know what I mean? But then when I come over to an FPS game where I want to feel like I'm on the battlefield, as corny as that sounds, but that's why I game, because I want to be immersed into that environment. And I'm getting that with this. The gunshots and the sounds of different weapons and reloads or abilities or stuff like that. You get it with this headset. And it's really nice that it's not over exaggerating the bass or the highs or the mids. It's really giving you that nice neutral sound that you can really play around with and tweak out on Dolby Atmos if you want or something like that. It's just a headset that I think a lot of people are going to be able to get down with. And again, create it to your own. You're not going to be like, oh, well, it sounds too much like this, or oh, I'm getting too piercy of highs, you know? I think it's a sound a lot of us are going to be able to agree on. And then again, if you want to manipulate a little bit, you can do that in an EQ or Atmos or something. It truly is a great sounding headset. And one of the best things about the Asus Rog Delta 2 is the price point. It's coming in at $230, which you might be able to find it for a little cheaper these days. I don't know, but still talking $230. what it's packing as far as features and functions, the comfort, the build is like, this headset should cost more. It is that good. Now this next headset I'm going to show you does just about everything right except one really important thing, this being the Corsair Virtuoso Max. But these ear pads they have on here are some of the worst I've ever used. They're deceiving. They're not as thick as they look. They just get that little bit of foam right on the top. Again, whoever approved these on Corsair needs to, I don't know, have a training lesson before they get fired. But again, they need to have a serious closed door conversation because these ear pads are horrible. Now coming up to the headband, you do got some plushness up there, but I do wish it was plush a little bit more. Now on the flip side of that, the build of this headset is hands down the best out of any of these on this list, if not any headset out there. All metal going right around to these forks, up into that bracket, up into the headband. Now as far as the housing around the cups here, that is plastic, but all of our other buttons and our controls and the ear cup outside, that is all metal. On the left ear cup, you got your power to 2.4 in Bluetooth, which you hold down to sync up. Right below that, you got your detachable microphone with that mute button, which also get that light indicator on the front. On the other ear cup, you got this button up there that is going to activate noise cancellation or that transparency mode so you can hear everything outside of there. And you can also single press it to cycle EQs. You got your play or track skip button, which just flows up or down. It just feels so premium. You got your USB-C charge port, which is get up to 60 hours. Now that is not all that is on this headset, as on the ear cups, these rings around them can move as well, as one of them is your game volume. The other one is going to be your Bluetooth volume. And these rings are actually metal, and you got this nice gliding tension in them as well. Again, it feels incredibly premium, and I love being able to control both. Honestly, if I was personally to design a gaming headset with all the features and functions that the Max have on them, this is exactly how they would be. Like, this does it so right. Like, it just doesn't feel chintzy. Everything that you can move around, it feels so premium. And again, having all the controls that you need right at your fingertips is just, gosh, it is seriously perfect. Oh, and by the way, you get a little travel case with this headset as well. Now, as far as the sound of the Corsair Virtuoso Max, it's a little interesting compared to some of the other headsets we've talked about in what they are featuring, being 50mm graphene drivers with a frequency range of 20 to 40,000 and again, fully cloth ear pads. So you're kind of thinking, okay, well, they're going to be really good for FPS. It has graphene, they're 50mm, you got a wider range, you got the cloth pads. Well, believe it or not, this headset does feature a little bit more body than some of the other headsets. Maybe more closer to the Astros right there, as with these cloth pads being very minimal, they sink right down. Your ears are in this little housing, which is actually plastic in there and closed off. So that sound is truly locked in there. Even with, say, a fully pleather pad where it's going to breathe out a little bit, these are pretty much locked in with plastic down there, and your ears are so close to the driver where that body is definitely prominent. Now, luckily, you can dive into Atmos or again, Corsair IQ, and use their Sound ID and dabble with an EQ and pull it out to what you want and pull out those highs and drop that bass a little bit more. But right out of the gate, you are going to notice this headset has a significant more amount of body within it, a little bit more bass. It's not thumpy or rumbly bass. It's just that warmer sound for sure. Out of the gate, story, that's it. But trust me, don't give up right there. Do Sound ID if you don't like dabbling with EQs, but I recommend you go into Atmos, which I made a video about. I recommend you doing that with any of these headsets, but when you go into Atmos, this headset truly comes to life. It really does. Now, the Corsair Virtuoso Max comes in at $330, which is a little bit of a hefty price tag on this headset, and it's missing that one main important thing I always live by, being comfort. So you all might be asking, why the heck did I even include it on this list? Well, I truly love this headset. It is truly premium and it does everything I want. Again, if I was to design a headset, it would be like this, but with a little bit more comfort being from those pads. So again, hopefully Wicked Cushions is on this ASAP and they're coming out soon because that'll truly transform it. Now, this next headset I'm going to share with you got some deserving slack out there, but I think it has been corrected with the recent update, and also in that recent video I made, you can truly transform this headset headset being the Turtle Beach Atlas Air. This is hands down the most cozy headset I have ever worn. These ear pads are super plush, super soft and breathable. They are big and just perfect. The headband, it's just floating up there. This whole headset, it feels like it's just floating on your head. This headset is hands down the most stinking cozy headset I've ever used. Now, as far as features and functions on the Atlas Air, you got your power button. Right below that, you got your switch button, because this headset does have Bluetooth, but it's not simultaneous. It's one or the other, and you can switch over. But if you're in 2.4, you can still get phone calls through it. Right below that, you got a 3.5 port and your USB-C port for charging, which you're going to get up to 50 hours of battery life. You got your flip down to active microphone, flip up to mute, but right on the left ear cup, you got tactile stepped wheel, which is actually going to be your volume wheel. I absolutely love how it's implemented in there. Now, another really interesting aspect of this headset is the sound, with it packing 40mm drivers in a frequency range of 20 to 40,000. But not only that, this is the first wireless open back gaming headset. And as you see, these ear cups, they're just holding on by those rubber bands right there, which kind of goes more into the comfort. But again, they are open back, as you see the mesh there, and then with those cloth ear pads. They are not really heavy piercing headset as far as the highs, with them being open back in the cloth, and they're really not heavy on the bass. I would say this is more close to the Asus headset we looked at right there, with a nice neutral type of sound. I would say the Asus probably has a little bit more bass than these, with these being open back, of course. So you're getting a really nice, open, airy sound with these. You're not going to get a competitive edge. You all know my view on open back headsets right there, but you do get a little bit more environmental sound, and some of that immersion's not closed in on you. Even with a headset with cloth ear pads like the Asus or the SteelSeries or something, this being open back, it's going to let that body and that immersion escape out a little bit more, kind of hits, does its thing, and it's gone. Hence the reason you're going to hear a consistent, steady footstep or something. But again, it doesn't amplify those footsteps. It just lets a lot of that immersion environmental sound escape a little bit quicker, which again is not something I prefer. I like a little bit more body and immersion in my sound, but you still get that. If you go into Atmos and really dabble with this headset and pull it out, you can really boost up that sound, since Turtle Beach did that goofy update which really lowered the sound, which is what everyone complained about. But go into Atmos, turn it on, turn on the voice or the sound limiter, turn that off, and then again this headset comes to life, and you can truly get some punch and again body out of it that really just makes you feel like you're into that game. And on top of all that, the Turtle Beach Atlas Air comes in at only $180, and everything it's packing, from that great build to again the comfort, the sound, the features and functions, at $180, this being the least expensive headset on this list, like, this is one you have to try. Again, it does get a lot of hate. Even on Amazon, you see some reviews talking about the sound dropping, because Turtle Beach released that update that just, again, really made it bad. But they released some couple other updates and the sound came back to life. But if you want to boost up that sound even more, go into Atmos and dabble with that. Again, I made a dedicated video talking just about this headset into Atmos, and it truly comes to life. And now for the microphone test, listening to the Astro A50X, clicking on the software here, just taking a quick brief look over it. You got EQs that you can adjust from over here. You got some presets, or you can go up here to community presets if you want to dabble with any of those. I use Atmos. Again, I keep talking about the video I recently made. I highly recommend that. It's a great video and really boosts up your sound pretty good. You got some other microphone options as well, which we are in flat right now, but you got some other options. Then you got some presets. You got your noise gate here as well. But anyways, the main core thing we're testing is the microphone, just straight flat, nothing tweaked, nothing adjusted. This is the Astro A50X microphone. Now you're hearing a microphone on the Arctis Nova Pro Wireless, and looking at their software, again, pretty much all this can be adjusted right on that station too, which I absolutely love. But you got your microphone volume over here. You can see we're at, I don't know, maybe 60%. You got EQs that you can adjust over here. You go into your settings and adjust some of the options on the dock itself as far as turning Bluetooth on and such. But going back to audio here, this is basic engine, but you can also dive into sonar and tweak it a whole lot more. Or of course you can still use Atmos as well. You just want to make sure that your EQs are flat, but not focusing on any of that. Go watch a standalone video for that. Right now you're just hearing the microphone of the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro Wireless. Now you're hearing the microphone on the Asus Rog Delta 2, and taking a look at an armory crate. Oh my gosh, I don't think any of us like Armory Crate. Of course, I have an update, as every time I load it up, there's a stinking update. But as far as the software, you got lots of options. As far as EQs, you can turn it on or off over here. Make sure you got it off if you're using Atmos or something. All sorts of other options over here. You even got microphone options, all these different things. Choose from noise gate, perfect voice, echo reduction, your settings. You got your RGB over here as well. Lots of options to adjust this headset right here. It's just, and it works. It's easy. But it works. But again, Armory Crate is just a cluttered mess, and there's always a stinking update. So anyways, focusing on the microphone, you are hearing the Asus Rog Delta 2 microphone. Now you're listening to the Turtle Beach Atlas Air microphone, and as you're listening to this microphone, I'm just giving you a quick showcase of the software. As you can see, it's just quite a bit of stuff there. Chat boost, you got 3D waves in there. As far as your sound, you can adjust in Windows. You got your mic monitoring and noise gate, and you come down here, you got EQs as far as your game, where you can create a custom one. And then you also have microphone EQs as well. We just got it flat here, as I don't like tweaking anything in my microphone test. Just a straight plug and play, so you can get that raw experience of what it sounds like. And this is the Turtle Beach Atlas Air. Now, I just showed you a list of my 5 favorite wireless gaming headsets currently, but that's not the only good wireless headsets out there. There are tons of other ones. Heck, the PlayStation Pulse Elite with the planar magnetic drivers, amazing headset. The Odyssey Maxwell's a phenomenal headset, even though it's ridiculously heavy. The SteelSeries Nova 7X is one of my favorites that you can get at a very reasonable price. The new Logitech G Pro X's, there are so many out there, and I want to hear from you all. What do you recommend down in the comments? And all in all, I hope this video was able to help you out. If you want any other information on any of these headsets, or heck, any of the other headsets I mentioned, I did do standalone videos of all of them. So hopefully, one way or another, one of my videos are able to help you out. And if they are, please hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Hope I catch you in the next one. Bye now.